I'm so congested. Fuck it, I'm recording anyways. You only live once. Everybody says it, but not everybody really thinks about it. And as cliche as it sounds, life is short and you should make the most of it. I know you've probably heard that a million times, and that's just it. I think most people don't actually believe it. We understand it in a sense of we know that it's true. We know that we all have a finite amount of time on this earth before we die because death is inevitable. But I don't think people feel that, because if we truly believed that we only had one life, I don't think that we'd spend so much of it waiting to start things, waiting to try things, waiting until we're ready, waiting until we have more money. These things all chew up your time without you even realizing. It's like we're always waiting for something, whether it be more confidence, experience, clarity, certainty, it doesn't really matter. The point is that we as humans waste way more time than we realize because we live under the illusion that we have that time to waste. I think a large part of why many people feel like we have time to waste and time to put stuff off is because the human lifespan feels pretty long. Like, depending on where you're from, the human lifespan is anywhere from like 65 to 85 years. I think the world average is in the mid 70s. And that's a lot of time, don't get me wrong. But the weird thing about these big numbers is that they make us feel comfortable. They make us feel like we have time. And technically, yes, we do have a lot of time, but still, I don't believe it's as much as we think. Assuming a decent portion of people who will view this, assuming it even gets views to begin with, are within a couple years of my age, so anywhere from probably 16 to 24, you've probably gone through or are in your later years of the education system, whether that's high school or college, university, doesn't matter. But let's just use someone graduating college, for example. Most people finish high school by around age 18, and let's assume they immediately begin college afterwards and take the average 4-year degree. By the time they're done, they're 22. And granted, 22 is not old in any way, but that's basically between 1/4 to 1/3 of their life spent in just the education system. And I know the numbers vary quite a bit based on someone's region. Like where I live, the average college or university degree, I didn't say that right. The average college or university degree is a 4-year program, whereas in the US it's like 5.5 years. And I know people also graduate high school and stuff at different times. Like, for example, I graduated when I was 17, but I knew a few who were 18. But back to the college thing, I didn't even account for those who chose to take a gap year or two. And if they do, that would mean they're between 23 and maybe 25 by the time they're out of the education system. And looking at the world average, 25 is almost exactly 1/3 of your life. Actually, if you look at the exact world average on Google, 25 is more than 1/3 of your life. And now I'm not going to say they were wasted years, because education is genuinely important. And I seriously look up to people who actually enjoy school, but still remember, once you graduate, those years are gone. Not wasted or spent poorly, but just gone. And congratulations, you have that piece of paper saying you did it, but now what? After college, most people just spend the rest of their lives working, and even saying that sentence perfectly rounds up my point. It's too easy for someone's entire life to pass by. Like, I'm 19, and I feel like I've wasted 3 decades of my life. My age doesn't even start with a 2 yet, and I feel like I've wasted decades. And, some people work jobs they love, and others work ones they hate, and that's just the way the world goes. But the real question is, what comes after all that work? I mean, it's got to be followed by retirement. And I think the average retirement age in North America is somewhere in the upper 60s. And granted, that'll probably change as us Gen Zers get up there in age because of the interesting way the economy is, but I'm not here to get political. Basically, if everything goes well, you get to retire around, 65 and probably live the last decade of your life with freedom. But the issue is, by then, age starts to catch up. Your body isn't the same, your energy isn't the same, your opportunities aren't always the same. And again, I'm not saying life is short, like it is, but the time between graduating like high school and eventually retiring is long as fuck, but the time goes way faster than we all realize. Like, I really want to put it into perspective here. Think about your least favorite insect, the mosquito. A mosquito lives for like, 2 weeks to like a month and a half? And that's seriously nothing. 2 weeks is like the average length of people's Christmas break. And in the tiny span of time that a mosquito is alive, holy shit, I can't talk. In the tiny span of time that a mosquito is alive, they're born, grow up, annoy the piss out of everybody, reproduce, and then die. And I mean, that's basically the same process that humans experience, but they do it in a fraction of the time. And yes, we have decades to live, unlike a mosquito, but yet we're the ones constantly saying things like, I'll do it later, I'll start next month, I'll try when I'm ready. And I guess that's the strangest thing about us as humans. Not that we have limited time, but that we act as if we don't. And, I've become a victim to this mindset too. I'm trying to break out of it because I realize we really don't have a lot of time, especially when you think about your youth, when you're more physically able to do stuff without consequence or injury, at least at my age. I mean, I'm still young enough to do a lot of stuff without consequence or injury, but far less than when I was like 10, for example. A lot of people, myself included, put off things they've wanted to do for years and sometimes their entire lives. Not because they can't do them, but because they keep waiting for the perfect moment. Like for me personally, I live by the saying, no regrets. But I guess in the context of this conversation, I actually kind of have a relevant, side note or story, if you can really call it that. And I mentioned those who might be in high school, and I guess it kind of brought me back to my high school experience. And, without telling the whole story, I'll basically sum it up as I regret not asking my high school crush out. And I know that's kind of a crazy thing to say at my big age, considering I graduated over 2 years ago. But it's something that crossed my mind because I'm having this discussion. And while it was years ago and that shit is long gone, I still recall the last day of high school like it was yesterday. I remember always telling myself back then, like, if the moment arises, I might as well ask her. And I just never did. And I recall seeing her one last time before leaving the parking lot, and I just never looked back. And if I did ask her out, who knows? She could have said yes, and we could have been together right now. She could have said no, and that would have been the end right there. But that's just it. I never asked, so I'll never know, right? And I let that opportunity slip because I was under the impression that I still had time. I guess really, if you, the viewer, want to do something, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the perfect version of yourself. Don't wait for the perfect person to arrive. Confidence and certainty don't just magically appear. And I definitely don't think there's a moment where life itself taps you on the shoulder and just says, okay, everything's perfect now, you can start. Because that'll never happen, and we all know it. Because if you've wanted to do something for years, just fucking do it, bro. Just do it. Like, seriously, I mean, there's no other way to say it. Think of that one clip of Shia LaBeouf, bro.
Just do it!
But look, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's going to give you permission. Nobody's going to tell you it's finally time. Nobody's guaranteed success. And nobody's going to remove the possibility of failure. You either do it or you don't. And I'm not trying to make this sound harsh or, on the other side of the spectrum, weirdly motivational or anything. I just think that we need to realize that nobody's going to give you the green light to do things, so do it yourself. The point of this video isn't just that life is short, although it certainly seems that way. The point is that life isn't infinite, and you only live once. That's what gives life value. You don't get another save file, you don't get another run, you don't get a reboot card. This is it, and honestly, that's kind of a good thing. And not to sound pessimistic or just negative in general, but it's true. I think a way to view it is more through the eyes of something like optimistic nihilism. Now look, before you click off, I know I'm no philosopher. I will say that right now. But what that means is you take the classic depressing nihilistic belief that life has no inherent meaning and you flip it into a positive light. And you basically say that if life has no inherent meaning or predetermined rules, you're free to invent your own purpose. So make the best of every day, because if we had unlimited time, we would never start anything. And I mean, I've fallen into that trap myself too. I mean, I gave an example earlier in the video about how I never asked my high school crush out. Like I said, she could have said yes, she could have said no. Like, I will literally never have an answer because who the fuck is calling me? Who's calling me while I'm recording? Fuck off my phone. Fucking, yeah, I'll never have an answer because I never asked, right? Like, I was under the impression that I had more time than I really did. Either way, we as humans always say tomorrow, next week, next year, eventually, and those are all dangerous words. The word eventually. A lot of dreams die when you say eventually. A lot of ideas never escape the mindset of saying eventually. A lot of people spend their whole lives walking towards eventually, only to realize they never actually arrived. So if there's something you've been wanting to do, whether that's create, learn, build, share, speak, try. Not because you're guaranteed success, fame, money, or anything else, but just because you can. Because in the end, whether you spend this life creating something or doing nothing at all, it's the only one you get. So why waste time? You only live once. Thank you for watching. Good night.